morning, I'm Joe Rozak. I'm your host for this morning's Exit Issues. I'm also the Chamber President of your friendly local neighborhood, Bremerton Chamber of Commerce. We want to welcome you all here for our Exit Issues. So just to let you know that this is an exciting kickoff event for us for the election season. Many of you do know that the election primary is being held August 1st. And this is your opportunity to vote smart, have an opportunity to speak. Have questions asked the candidates and their positions and where they're coming from. Just give you a heads up that next week on July 18th, we'll also have a City of Bremerton Council District 1. On July 25th, Council District 3. August 8th, Port of Bremerton, District number 1. And then August 15th, the Council District 5. So we have an active season ahead of us. And do remember, Election Day is November 7th, okay? So with that, a couple of quick news, keep you all up to speed. Since it's been a year for us, some of us may have forgotten, but if you have one of these things, as I do, please put it on silence or vibrate and put it out of the way. If yours happens to go off during this time and the candidates are speaking or we're asking questions, and we happen to hear it, I will ask that to make a donation of $10 to a local nonprofit in Bremerton, of which we are choosing
the YWCA.
The YWCA. And this will be an honorary donation. I'm not going to hunt you down, make sure you do it. I'm just going to ask that you kindly make the donation.
I got to turn it off. It was already on.
Oh, that was close. I was just finishing that one. I almost made $10 for the YWCA. But that's a good example of how this happens. Thank you for checking with your phone.
Yeah.
All right, so our format. Number one, remember that there is no videotaping or still tapes or photos or anything of this project as we go forward. We are filming it for you, and this tape will be available on the Chamber of Commerce, our website, in
Facebook.
On Facebook within 24 hours. So, the format, for those who may have forgotten, is that each candidate will begin with 3 minutes to just give an opening statement. And actually, we will then give them we have a timing system, of which the yellow one goes up when there is, in this case, when you do the opening, you get 30 seconds notice, and then the red one will go up saying time is over, and I get out the big book and pull you off stage if I have to. So then we will move on to questions, of which I have quite a list of questions, quite a pile of questions from our candidates, from our audience members, I should say, and they're quite fascinating, they're quite diverse. So we're looking forward to bringing those forward, try to get as many accomplished. You'll have 1 minute to answer those questions, 1 minute only. And then the yellow flag will go up at 10 seconds ago, and the red one goes up when the time is up. And then finally, at the end of it all, you all get 2 minutes to just to give a concluding statement, and the flag will go up when you get 20 seconds left on that. You have before you a, I would say, what, salmon? Orange? What color is that? Salmon, it is. All right. I'm a guy, so glad I got orange, blue, red. Okay, call that salmon. And call that your challenge card. So during the course of the conversation, you want to challenge something that somebody else has said and you've already spoken, please raise that. I will then, after the other candidate has finished, I will call on you and you'll have 30 seconds to either stop or actually answer if you want to elaborate on something. So that's your challenge card for today, all right? And let's see, bathrooms are down that hallway in case of a fire, emergency, earthquake. Exit doors are out both that way. I feel like an airline steward when I do that. Am I missing anything else, Frank?
No, you're good to go, sir.
All right. So with that, we will begin. We can start alphabetically, and we'll ask for our candidates to begin with the 3-minute opening. So, Gary, please, 3 minutes. Introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, my name's Kerry Bozeman, and thank you all for being here today. I think there's 3 things you ought to know about me. One is, when I served in public office before, what did I get accomplished? 2 is, what is my plan for the next 4 years, and what I want to get done? And 3 is, am I someone who can lead change? Because I think the mayor's job is about leadership. So let me talk a minute about what we got done when I was mayor before. The goal was to revitalize the downtown, and we raised in those 7.5 years over $400 million in new assets We built the Fountain Park, the Kitsap Conference Center, the Norm Dix Center, the ferry traffic tunnel. We worked with the port to build a new 360 slip marina. We passed a bond issue to build a new fire station and police station. We annexed 2,000 acres industrial park. We worked and built a new Navy museum program. We worked with the Navy to build the downtown Navy parking garage. We worked with the Hazelwoods to build a new ice skating rink. We built a new skateboard park. We built the Manette Outlook View Park. We worked with the Kitsap Housing Authority to build the Harborside condominiums. We recruited Anthony's to town. We upgraded the Blueberry Park, and we built the Shipyard Memorial Plaza. We got all that done in 7.5 years, and we raised $400 million to do it. So what do I want to do in the next 4 years, and why am I running? I'm running because 8 years ago I proposed a project called Neighborhoods Now, and we put it on a bond issue to begin putting resources in our neighborhoods. And it failed because we hadn't done our homework. We hadn't gone to the public with our program. So in the last year, I put a team of people together to design a program about improving neighborhoods. We started meeting last fall. We put a website up and had over 300 people do the survey on the website. And we did a community summit for 150 people. So we have a plan, which is my priority in running. My first priority will be to improve our neighborhoods. And what are we going to do then? We're going to establish a citywide neighborhood council and citywide neighborhood associations. We're going to create a director of neighborhoods within the city. We're going to fund a neighborhood grant program. We're going to increase sidewalk and street lighting in our neighborhoods. We're going to pave neighborhood streets. I hope to build a new community center and senior center in a new location, develop more community gardens, locate and build a permanent farmers market, and establish a variety of other health-related programs in our neighborhood. So that's my goals for the next 4 years. And I'll just close with my sense about leadership. Leaders are people who have visions about what the changes they want to bring. They have ability to put a plan together. They have the ability to pull people together and bring resources. And they have a passion for doing it. And I have all those things around this idea about neighborhoods. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. Could you please pass this microphone to me? Thank you.
You want us to stay seated?
It's up to you, ma'am.
I'm currently the mayor of Bremerton, Pennyland, and I want to tell you that the last 8 years that I've been in office, we've accomplished a great deal. There was a recession going on when I arrived in 2009, and it was, we had $4 million debt. So when you see that the worst times, we had to take and work together. Every single employee that worked for the city had to take 12 days a year without pay for 4 years. Those furlough days, even our fire and police gave back 4.7% of their salary. We needed to take and pull together to get through that. We started the entrepreneurial services because we wanted to take those people that had lost their jobs or had left, their companies had gone out of business. We wanted to get them back into business. So through the entrepreneurial services and through the BEST program, over 200, in fact 400 young people that wanted to take and stay working worked. We also had to think smart. We wanted to keep our swimming pool, but we couldn't afford the $200,000 annually to maintenance and for lifeguards. We had a 35-year contract signed with the YMCA, and now every third grader gets free swimming lessons. So it was a win-win prospect. Another thing was our golf course. People were not playing golf, and we could not afford to keep it open. We hired someone to come in and manage it, and because our manager at the time, after 28 years, was retiring, they came in and hired some of those people. So it was important that we kept our assets, but we had partnerships with the private side. Also, we went from 370 employees now to 310. Most of that was probably through attrition. We had lots of retirees. And in the next 4 years, we have probably 1/3 of our employees in the city are looking for retirement. We need to make sure we have a succession plan going forward. I know that in the next 4 years, we have 4 projects that are extremely important to me and extremely to the city. Leaving the city sustainable, having it work together. We don't have the federal dollars that we used to have. That's something that isn't coming down to us. and we're not getting state dollars like we used to have. So we look at what we're doing internally. The $20 tap fee that we have additional in the city of Bremerton is really making a tremendous difference. And what we did last year is that for this budget, we also have the same amount of money that that $20 tap fee brings in for our neighborhoods. In all 35 parks, we've updated or built new ones while I've been in office. We have a city that's vibrant. We've never been this strong since 2005. I'm looking forward to answering your questions and giving you more information about the future of Bremerton.
Thank you, Mayor. Please, Greg.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. It's one I enjoy every year. So I'm Greg Wheeler. I'm running for mayor of the city of Bremerton, and I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, so you know who wants this job. I'm from Bremerton. This is my hometown. I attended public schools here, and upon completion of those, I went into service. Served in the Navy and came back home a veteran. I found work at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard where I entered the apprenticeship program. After 4 years, I graduated as a marine pipe fitter mechanic, so I'm a journeyman mechanic. During that time, about halfway through my career, I should say, I entered the engineering department where I've worked the last 15 years before retiring 22 months ago. About the last 8 years, I've been a city councilman where I also served as our council president for 3 terms, and I was elected by my peers and honored to hold that position. During that portion of my life, I was going to school at night and I earned an MBA. I will say that the one thing I've learned as I go door to door, which I have now completed 10,300 doorsteps, is there's a universal concern over the lack of job opportunities in our city. There's a concern that we have to export too much of our talent out of here just so they can come home and somehow earn just make ends meet. This is not a recipe for success in any city. To be a vibrant, sustainable city, you have to offer economic opportunity. You have to have a diversified economy that reaches all demographics. This is important. This is absolutely necessary. Any good programs that ever would come into a city or be provided by a city would have to start with the revenue that a prosperous community brings to your city. This is absolutely necessary and vital. We need to look at this as our chief and primary concern going forward. I plan on addressing this as your next mayor. And I would encourage you all to please look at my website and my Facebook site. I have varied and diversified interests. There are park systems that I care about. There's specific projects that I want to work on. There is an overall energy plan that I intend on having our city conduct. We're going to audit ourselves. We are going to find those efficiencies. We will save millions of dollars while doing this. So as your next mayor, I look forward to these questions. I plan on earning your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Please pass to Mayor Lent. So now we get into our questions that we have assembled from you, the audience members. I've tried to put them in some semblance of a category for topics for the candidates. And they get 1 minute to answer, and the flag will go up at 10 seconds left. So with that, we'll begin with current Mayor Patty Lent. And the question is, was background. Recent explorations by the Department of Defense Navy appear to be seeking private alternatives to PSNS workloads, specifically in the decommissioning of the USS Enterprise. Additionally, the Trump administration's defense budget request submittal to Congress for 2018 has included organizing another BRAC round in fiscal year 21. It appears it is time to reinstitute a functioning Puget Sound Naval Bases Association. What will you do as mayor to address these concerns, and will you fund PSNBA activities, and if so, how?
Thank you. I was part of the BRAC discovery in 2005 when I was the county commissioner, and we worked 2 years trying to make sure that no bases in the state of Washington were affected. And through that, the PSNBA was our strongest advocate. We used to have a breakfast in the shipyard with all of the workers that were there, And then JAG came through from the Navy and said, we don't think that our laborers and our unions should support lobbying, and so they really put a kibosh on it. I personally allow them to have their meetings in my office once a month. We're working with them now because we need to take and have to strengthen that. I totally support the PSNBA, and will do everything I possibly can, personally and through the city, in order for that to be strengthened. The last thing is, yes, there was a private bid from Texas to cut up the enterprise. That was unsolicited so far. Nothing has happened in the shipyard, but we definitely want to protect that because it's also the submarines that we work on.
Thank you. Councilor Wheeler, would you like me to read the question, or are you good?
I think I'm good. So, and that's a great question, and I'm a supporter of PSNBA. I thought it was performed a very valuable function when they were active. I did attend the events. It put a face to all of the Navy leadership, and which I felt, and it often was in a semi-formal, but it was also a social atmosphere, where we got to know the people. You know, the BRAC is real. Those things are real. We have to be proactive as a city to ensure that all of our leaders know, all the way from our region to the Washington D.C. know that Bremerton really depends and supports Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. You know, as a retiree, I can vouch for the value of the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. I can vouch for the value that they bring to our community. So I have been advocating on our behalf at Puget Sound Regional Council on the Growth Management Policy Board. I've done this for 8 years tirelessly. And there is now awareness of the importance of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard as far as its impact on our region.
Thank you.
You know, when I was mayor, this was a really serious issue, and we worked with Congressman Norm Diggs, and there was a time we were convinced we were going to lose Keyport, but we kept fighting for it and worked with the local organizations, and we saved it. I'm proud of that. I think this round is serious enough, but I've had a long conversation with Guy Stitt about how we should move forward. And Guy and I talked about in the very near future putting together a group of people to visit DC and to make sure we have Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell on our side. And to continue to work with Norm Diggs and Congressman Kilmer. Yeah. Congressman Kilmer on this issue. It's a political issue, it's a political process, and unless you've done your homework with your local Congress and senators, this could be more serious than we want it to be. So we've been through this before when I was mayor, so this is something we've got to get right on.
Thank you. And next question goes to Gary. So the question has to do with parking. Surprise. All right. Have you explored the option of creating a park and ride, for example, at the old high school off of Wheaton Way, and have a bus loop to the shipyard, removing cars parking downtown?
Well, those are great suggestions. In fact, there is no options that are off the table as far as solving the parking. The continuous loop bus service is going to be absolutely necessary for our city. If we want to solve parking, we need to have public transit. We need to have an urban level of transit. That means a continuous loop. People need to be able to count on a bus coming by every 15 minutes. It should be sooner, but I would welcome every 15 minutes. And allowed to actually transport us all over the city as far as Kitsap Way, Perry Avenue Mall, the Sheridan Plaza, the Callow Avenue District, and downtown. You know, all of those areas need to be stops. This is going to help us in a number of ways, but one of the big ones is the parking. And park and rides are going to be an important part of this also. In fact, that is absolutely necessary. Urban level of transit, park and rides, both are going to help solve our problem.
Gary, same question, please.
Same question. Anytime with the shipyard with 12 to 15,000 workers and with people going to the ferry every day, parking's always been a problem in downtown. It has been since I first came here. It's been for 30 years. The answer is simple. You've got to get more of the people that work in the shipyard and more of the people that take the ferry to take public transportation. And one of the ways we could do this is to create more parking rights near our downtown. I would not be in favor of taking the East High side as a parking right. I think that site has too much potential for a lot of other really good things, and I've got a proposal around that. But Kids at Transit has some parking ride lots available, that we need to develop them and then do a better job of providing shuttle service. You know, the issue of downtown parking has come up, and I know the mayor and the council have had a study, and one of the issues is parking meters downtown. And we have been fighting this issue of people parking on downtown streets and moving their cars. And I think it's time we need to do that, and I think the council and the mayor need to take a serious look at the parking meter issue. It might just be time to institute that program.
Thank you, sir. Okay. So that completes, yes, Mayor? Yes, your turn. Same
All right.
question.
Well, our first complaint about parking was in 1919, so it's a battle. We did have this study. The county has asked administration, which is my side of the house, to come up with 4 different options. The first thing we're going to do is we want to get the license plate readers, because if we're not doing a good enough job in the neighborhoods, we want to make sure that we have the staff and the newest technology to take and do that. Secondly, we have as many employees that work for the businesses downtown that park and move their car as we do people from the shipyard and using the ferries. So we need to take, and where we've got 10-hour parking, have something that's an incentive. We're now working with Kids at Transit on commuter transportation reduction. It's not something that we've supported before. In fact, we have a meeting today with all of my directors to make sure that we're addressing that fact. We're going to bring these 4 things in the next couple of weeks to council. Hopefully, we're going to have some remedies, and it's going to take many, not just one.
Thank you. Next question goes to Carrie. You get to start us off again, please.
Yeah.
This question is, actually, a couple of folks have brought this up. That's to, regarding about broadening our economic base and some suggestions you might have to enhance the economy besides the shipyard. So another person's asking that same question in a different vein, like attracting small business jobs, adds jobs to the local economy. Currently, everyone is focusing on adding apartments. What are the city of Bremerton's plans to add small businesses or mom and pop type businesses to our city? So however you want to answer all those questions, it's actually has to do with economic development in Bremerton.
Well, as a port commissioner currently, we just finished a $50,000 plan to an analysis of what kind of companies we can attract to our region, given the educational levels we have, the workforce we have available, the strong manufacturing opportunities we have here, and it's pretty interesting what might be available. And we have safe boats at the port, we have a variety of other things. And when I was mayor, we annexed the port land, which is 1,500 acres of industrial land, into the city, because that was going to be where our new job base was going to be. But let me tell you a phenomenon I think is going to happen here, and that is with the passenger-only ferry running, and with the economic issues going on in Seattle where you can't buy a house, the average home house is $800,000 for average. So all of a sudden, we're going to see a lot of people that work in downtown interested in living here and commuting on the ferry. Those people are by and large highly educated, entrepreneurial kind of people who, once they start commuting, after a number of years, will start thinking about bringing their own business here. I think that's an opportunity we should seize on.
Thank you. Mike, over to that. Thank you.
We're actually helping with infill within the city. We're an old city, and what we've been able to do is get some of those older buildings, new facades with apartments on top. And yes, we do have individuals and entrepreneurial businesses. They haven't moved in yet because we're still in that construction, but we've got Salvatore Bakery, and we've got lots of restaurants, and we've got little businesses that line up from Burwell all the way up to Rydell. There are more businesses. People that haven't been downtown in the last few years aren't aware of what's growing and the energy that we've got downtown. So when you talk about businesses, we're attracting them. The government doesn't create jobs, but we certainly make it easy for businesses to come here. We just hired an economic development person. He has brought 2 businesses already here, one in Palo and one downtown. He's working with the owners of those empty buildings that have been empty for
Same question.
Okay, thank you. You know, there's only one way to get started with this. You absolutely have to reform our B&O tax code. You have to accelerate the phase out. You have to remove it as quick as possible. There's another approach also you can take if you want to help small businesses. If you want to help that entrepreneur get started here, if you want to recruit that next living wage job provider, you have to remove B&O tax. You have to expedite the permitting process. You have to make these commitments to our citizens and our businesses that you will be faster with as much professionalism as we already have. It's got to be 30 days faster, which is my first commitment. I'm accountable to it. It is on my website. I'm looking for more. This will take a realignment of resources at City Hall and an understanding of why we need to do this. Every time you do this, if you get them folks out on the street selling goods and services, buying their materials, employing people, this is where you get that robust economy. And with small business, 70% of what they generate stays in your community, so remember that.
Thank you. And we have a challenge card. So, Renee, and hand it off to Carrie, please.
Yeah, Mr. Wheeler makes a point about eliminating the B&O tax and has been on the city council for 8 years. The city council establishes a budget. And I assume Mr. Wheeler's voted for the B&O tax for the last 8 years. This is not an easy issue because I think the money that we raise from B&O tax goes to other issues where there would have to be cuts made. So the reason the city council hasn't done away with it is they can't find the replacement money to take care of those services before. It does put us at a disadvantage in this county because no one else has a B&O tax. But the city council determines the budget and they adopt it every year.
Oh, we have another challenge. Or could I respond? You want to challenge the challenge? Go ahead. There we go. All right.
So one of the issues with this is not a simple cut. It's going to require multiple moving pieces that only a mayor can perform. You will have to realign resources. I will do that. Community development needs those resources. I can prove through the last 5 years of tax collections what will happen if you put a brand new business, if you put one more month in their pocket out in the community offering goods and services and employing people. We have enough data to tell us what will generate in sales tax by giving them 1 month of their life back. You do this over 5 years, I have enough history, I'll be able to work with council to make sure we can get this done, and I'll be able to back it up with data. This will require full effort.
Thank you. And another challenge.
There are 2 cities in Kitsap County that have B&O taxes, Bainbridge Island and Bremerton. Out of 281 cities in the state, 44 have B&O taxes. Lowe's did not move out of Bremerton because of that. However, we have brought in this year over $3 million. That money goes directly to our fire department. So that sustains the first responder, which your tax dollars need to go to. If we need to find another revenue, the city is going to have to annex. I will tell you the 4 box stores that are between Rydell and Fairgrounds brings in twice what the B&O tax is. I have planned for the last 3 years to make certain that we do annexations. We are asking the people to come in and ask us that we can do a better job under city government.
Thank you. All right, so that was an exciting round. Let's see. These are your questions, folks. I just asked them. Thank you very much. So actually, the next question goes to Patty. There you go. And the question is, Bremerton is the center for almost all of the services for the homeless in Kitsap County. Why does Bremerton have to absorb the full cost of the homeless issues that are county-wide? Why can't all the cities of Kitsap County and the county itself give Bremerton funds to cover the additional fire, police, and medical costs associated with the homeless?
The city actually partners with different agencies, and I know that Populous is one of them. We have been spreading out over the last 5 to 10 years, and that's not just in Bremerton, but in Port Orchard, in Paulsbo, and in North Kitsap. So there are areas that we are trying to take and treat the vulnerable population that we have. We do have a grant that what we're doing is in Bremerton, we're taking 50 of our most chronic homeless off the street, but you can't just find a place for them to live. You have to find out the core of that homelessness. Is it drug or alcohol addiction? Is it mental illness? Is it some kind of something that they can't retain a job? So we have caseworkers, we have public health, We have 5 different agencies working with us in order for us to make that happen. We're one of the few cities that want to remove the homeless, but we want to make sure that we're getting to the core of that, not just buying tiny houses or tent camps for them. We are doing something, if you haven't noticed it, we are making a difference in that homelessness, but because we have the largest population, that always draws the agencies that take care of them.
Thank you. Greg, same question.
Okay, so the county does contribute, and a lot of it's just through the CDBG and the money they collect. They contribute to nonprofits that help the vulnerable population and our homeless. You know, as far as impacts on public service, we obviously can always use help, but we are an urban environment. We are a city. We are charged with taking care of all people. We are in charge with being the economic center of our county. So, you know, I'll be working with the county as your mayor. The one thing I see that our county needs to get behind is public transit. I mean, an urban level of transit. We're going to increase our density. We're going to add more units. That helps the homeless problem. It helps with affordability. When you do that, you're going to add more congestion to your city. You're going to have parking issues along with it. We need the urban level of transit to help us solve that. That's how the county can get behind this, by recognizing this is a very necessary function, because we are going to add density in our city, and that density is going to help relieve the pressure that's causing part of the homeless problem.
Thank you. And Carrie, same question.
Now, this isn't just a Bremerton problem, this is a regional problem. And it's only going to get worse as our community grows and we see more jobs creation and that sort of thing. The city council voted to remove themselves from the Kitsap Regional Council. So we're the biggest city in the county, and we're not sitting at the regional table talking to our neighbors about how to solve these kind of problems. What needs to happen is we need to get to a regional table with everyone else in this county and put together a strategic plan around this issue of how we're going to deal with these social issues like homelessness and people on the street and all these kind of things. Bremerton can't carry this burden by itself, but if we're not talking to our neighbors and we don't have a strategic plan around this, then we're not going to solve it, and it'll just continue to be a